I've wanted to keep looking at the 90s as a creative decade, for it spawned many excellent creations in the midst of the regular superhero output. In 1994, the still young Dark Horse Publishing began producing Hellboy, a comic that would go on to become a franchise spawning 2 movies, 2 animated movies, several video games, and a mass of multimedia ventures. However, it's the first story, Seed of Destruction, that I want to look at. The 4-issue miniseries that started it all, that many stories for years would draw upon for plot threads. The original and best Hellboy adventure. This was writer-artist Mike Mignola's first attempt at writing, and as far as debuts go, it's pretty damn near perfect. Supported in scripting by industry veteran John Byrne, Mignola introduces a team of interesting yet diverse characters, Hellboy, Abe, and Liz, and gives them a mission right from the get-go. Heck, you could even say the first issue stands up well as its own story. You've got the origin of Hellboy in a short yet moving prologue, the death of a loved one as his motivation for action, and a great scene shedding light on the Lovecraftian influence of this universe. Which brings me to the overall tone and genre of the piece. Mignola's work, both in art and dialogue, is a slick infusion of fantasy, horror, and adventure. As I said, the universe has a huge H.P. Lovecraft influence, but instead of opting for a straight horror route, there's a bit of everything here. Even the name itself, Hellboy, implies superheroics, which can be drawn from this series. However, it's also reminiscent of classic pulp adventures like Conan the Barbarian in terms of action. That Hellboy is also coined as the world's greatest paranormal detective lends to some Conan Doyle detective noir influence. In the end, you have a wholly original product, one with clear genre influences, but one that feels like a very unique beast. As good as the writing is, it's really Mignola's art that's the stuff of legends. He uses the classic Jack Kirby style, with angular bulk characters, but with a restrained hand. He uses heavy inking and shadows to further set the horror noir tone, with an incredibly stylish finish that has given the art a timeless quality. He has a deft eye for storytelling, with a lot of sequences using less dialogue and more the flow of the actual art to show the reader what's happening. This cinematic storytelling was one of the first of its kind, and has since been used in a lot more modern comics. Mignola would eventually hone this ability to a fine point, with future Hellboy stories being sometimes completely devoid of dialogue. He also has the ability to include subtle, yet interesting background details, like statues and ornate architecture. Some would add to the overall mystery and intrigue of the story, but all of them helped establish the mysterious and wondrous tone Mignola was looking for. The most impressive thing about Seed of Destruction, however, is its longevity. To this day, its plot devices are still being used in Hellboy stories. There's the Frog Plague in the first issue, the villainous Rasputin, a twist on a real historical character, the Ogdru Jahad creature, one of Mignola's more Lovecraftian creations, who has become the source of the majority of Hellboy's enemies. Plus, the story itself was loosely adapted for movie in 2004, with a solid reception and cult following. From a mere 4 issues, Mignola has been able to craft a rich and interesting universe, spanning over 7 different series, which is still in publication today. Seed of Destruction is simply the definitive Hellboy tale, an all-around classic adventure story which, despite being over 20 years old, holds up to this date.